Yes, and Terra, like also in Terra, I use tunable pads, so you can tune. Also, microtonal in Terra, you can tune each pad independently, and it's really very powerful. So I found it firstly in Lyra-8, and now I continue developing on this idea, and Terra also uses this way of creation of keyboard, and I found it's very powerful. So especially with this pitch shifting system, when you have 16 versions of shifting of all this keyboard, you have really huge range of but very small keyboard, and you can play complex sequences using your arms. This combination of pitch shifting part and notes part, and I found it's really powerful, and I hope a lot of people will really love this keyboard, and that is why I even created MIDI output, so you can use using Terra output, Terra as a MIDI controller, you can play some other things.
So the instruments are getting different, but the core knowledge on the
Let's
processes, they go from one to each
Yes,
other, one
yes.
jump from one to the other, like some égrégore, like some
Yes,
spirit.
yes. I think it's a good way how to explain it. So, and some maybe philosophy, because I really would like to have. So now a lot of music, maybe vast majority of music made in computer. So for me, computer is not a musical instrument. So I absolutely embrace and accept computers for pop production, for commercial production, because it's very powerful. But as like independent, experimental, more emotional music, computers suck too much energy from you. So in my opinion, my experience, as I started to work with computer, I always very exhausted by this process, because I actually programmer. And I really, in all my instruments, I try to free my users from programming. So all knobs are playable, so you can play. So it's not like you adjust and then play like in most synthesizers, right? So even analog, so you can spend half a day just for adjusting different parameters, and this is a kind of programming. It's not performance. So I try to make all knobs and switches on my synthesizers like musical controllers. That's the difference. So you better play it. Don't just set it and forget. So and Terra not exception. So this is very simple interface, instantly playable. So after such, so it another experience. So after performance, you feel yourself much more fresh than if you mess with complex digital synths with a big computer interface and something like 500 of different parameters of synthesis settings. So of course this way also have very powerful side. So you have like constructor, and you can construct everything you need, everything you want, but then you are engineer. But I would like to propose this like labor division. Someone is engineer, someone is musician. So and propose to musicians like ready sound design. I mean that this is like violin. You don't need to program violin or guitar, right? So you just need to play. And this is quite a big bless, because for today I think we quite often lose ourselves in programming, and we have not that much time to make music. So I propose my users to better spend this time mastering yourself as a musician. If you decided that you are a musician, not an engineer, spend your time mastering your instruments, not learning how to program different timbres. from scratch.
Yeah, I agree. I use computer obviously to compose and record music for releases, but on stage I found that the computer is more like a wall, like an obstacle.
Yes.
Only because for starters the DAW, the digital audio workstation, would be Ableton Live or any other similar Pro Tools, Cubase, they create some lag for the computer to process your sound in software side, and this lag, the public, they don't know why, but they sense like something is distant.
Yes.
And if you can get rid of the computer on stage and have all these cables, only cables for instant sounds, and then it's more authentic experience for the public. So that's why people, like you say, should be spend more time mastering the instrument for instant performance than spend a lot of time on the computer, which it's great for publishing the compositions, but for stage performance it's
Yes.
dragging you back.
Yes, I totally agree with you. So it's rather obstacle than good helper. And also Lyra never freeze, never let you down. And computer anytime can be, you must update your system right across of your performance or something like
or
this.
Overheats or starts
Yes.
then you sitting duck on stage.
Access violation or some like shadow program pop up with some notification and stupid sound.
You don't want
Yes, that is why I really
it's more bionic experience to be on with your analog gear, and you can trust it.
Also, I always try to make like one knob, one function. Like Pulsar, it's complex machine, but one knob, one function. So this is like for me, it's very important. Like for me, synthesizer is like territory, like my home. So what is home? Home, if you can close your eyes and navigate your home using your memory, right? So I know where is, I don't know, where is, I can get spoon, where I can get
what you need,
piece of paper, and the same with synthesizer. So I must remember it by my heart. So Lyra or Pulsar or Terra can propose to it perfectly, because this knob always make tune, nothing else for this oscillator. So and this is also like playability of interfaces, and also I see here quite a big philosophical message, because this is like exploration top question of contemporary time relationships of a man and a machine. What is machine for us? And in contemporary world, more and more machine is your master. So a machine dictates you what you must to do, defines your boundaries, defines what you do, how you do it. So you must follow this machine, not vice versa. So, in my opinion, we must stay human. It means that we must be masters of machines, and we must say machine what to do, not machine say us what to do. Like usually, like all bank interfaces, all this endless check-in, check-out points. You must follow strict rules, and
there's this saying that every person who plays the Lyra says the same thing in different words. For example, Loopop says the Lyra you don't play, the Lyra plays you. And I remember 3 years ago I also published some similar statement, like it gets you and you're just in trance following it, and then after a few months you can learn to control it.
Yes, in some way many people say that you must make relationships with Lyra. So it's like, but also this is like another way. So you can't make relationships with cash machine, right? So you just need to follow their instruction. Or for example, if you take DAW, it follows your instructions. Here, like relationships, but also very important that with my instruments you stay a musician. So Lyra will never play itself. in compare with most of digital machines that have built-in sequencers, arpeggiators, super complex sounds, and some button make super hit, right?
Dive in and say, hey, I'm a trance DJ, and I can hit one note and put a bass drum on it, and that's my tune.
So you must play on it.
Yeah, I always take photos of my knobs when I have some good sound, so I can come back to it later. Otherwise, it's impossible to remember all your sounds because it doesn't have like save function. So what I do is take photo of my knobs when I come back later to this song, for example, and remember how the knobs were, and then from there I still change things, and it's always a little different than at that time. But yeah, you need to take photographs of your knobs if you want to remember your settings. It's pretty simple.
Actually, maybe how we can explain this, like people often say that Lyra plays you, it means that it proposed to you something like experience, something like way of thinking. That is why people say it. So it's like involving instruments. So it involves you to some specific state, maybe of mind even. So people often say that this is like a very meditative instrument, and they come to Lyra or come to Cosmos, for example, like to even make a bit psychedelic tool. So it shifts your mind, shifts your approach. Maybe this way we can say that Lyra plays you, but it's totally not the same way like a cash machine master your behavior. So I think something like this.
It's just my first 3 years ago, my first sessions with Lyra, I felt like in a trance. It was totally new experience for me, and then now when I play Lyra, I still have this feeling, but I'm able to navigate, which I wasn't able at the first. So it's really an instrument that helps you to travel with yourself and with music. And there are some people who just don't record anything, just play for themselves for meditation. So it can be used for music, it can be used for yourself.
Yes, it can be just like your personal practice. Yes, and I think it's really important. I think most of people really love most of all this side of Lyra. I can suppose, of course, I don't know. I didn't like questionnaire for my customers, and I have no big average of data here. But it's really like more emotional connection maybe. So, and I think it's really important. That's like with acoustic instruments. So it's always triggering you some emotions. So I noticed that for me, more and more contemporary, especially digital instruments, they don't trigger any emotions, neither by sound, neither by feelings of communication with them. So it just functions, and functions. It's not that something you can make relationships.
Yeah, so that's why people who fail to connect with this, they will sell it and think it's just a box with knobs. But if you do the exercise, if you do the effort to learn, and then you find something that you connect with it, and then you cannot go back. That's how I felt.
Yes, and then this is, for me, this is a special synthesizer. I don't like to sell it, like try and sell, this constant loop, because they already built some relationships. It's like friend.